Here is this clip from Hillary.
I love this one because it's
infuriating.
So agonizing. I mean, this is so unbelievably... She sets this false premise that everybody buys into, and including the former Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton. Here's the, first of all, the illegal... And what I like so much about this, she's not Hispanic.
Right.
She's white. And I'm pissed off about it. Here she is, the illegal alien.
My name is Nova. I'm 19
Nova.
years old, and I've been in the Lower East Side Girls Club now for 9 years.
Good for you.
I have a very different glass ceiling than some of the girls are exhibiting here. For the first time publicly, I want to say that I'm an undocumented immigrant.
Okay, applaud for me, everybody.
Yeah! I will say no one.
It'll be easier the second time.
Yeah. And I want to say that it's been extremely difficult for me to empower myself in America because I came here legally when I was 5. And I came from Split, Croatia, where I was born. And it's been very hard because I don't have the documentation to get a job, to vote, which is essential, obviously, to women representation, to buy an apartment, to take out a loan to go to college. So I couldn't even go to my dream college because of that.
Couldn't even go to her dream college because of that.
What about financial aid? Because she goes on to talk about how she can't get the financial aid she needs, free money from us.
What kind of country are we?
Pat, you're on the ground, Pat.
She couldn't go to her dream college, too. I can't. What kind of country is this?
Can you go on, or...
Damn it! What kind of country doesn't allow an illegal immigrant to go to her dream college?
Well, and they're not giving her financial aid. I don't want to make it worse, but they're not giving her lots of free money to go to her dream college either, Pat.
I didn't go to my dream college either, but I'm not illegal. This is what
to be fair, she's only been here since she was 5.
Right, so...
There's no way she could have become legal in that amount of time. It's only 14 years.
Are you going to make it... He's collapsed again.
I hurt, Stu. I hurt.
Don't know how to...
What was her name? Sprout or something?
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Sprout. I'm so sorry that happened.
Now look, Pat. She's obviously actually emotional.
Her name was Nova.
Not Sprout, but Nova. And look, she may have come here from a war-torn area, which is obviously...
She did come here from
Croatia.
She came from Split, Croatia.
Which is rough. And,
oh, gosh darn it.
You know, look, this is not something to praise, however, considering that she would be doing this against the law. And the way to cure a lawless society is not to also become lawless. That is not something that you would do.
It just shows the freaking mentality of we owe it to everybody.
Your microphone's
my microphone came off.
Yeah.
In my grief.
You had a significant bout with grief there.
Thank you for noticing.
Yeah.
I'm recovering now.
It wasn't hard to notice, surprisingly. It wasn't.
Here's the thing. We're supposed to give her everything because she came here illegally. Well, no. I mean, there's millions, tens of millions of American citizens that also can't get the financial aid, that also don't go to their dream college, that also haven't had things handed to them. You know what? Go back to Croatia then and do it the right way, if that's what you need to do. Or stay here, go to the immigration office, and begin applying for legal status. And then you'll be able to do all those things.
Can we take this clip out of the talk radio context for a second here, though? What this, and I mean this seriously, what this is to America is a poor girl crying. Period. It doesn't matter why it doesn't matter if she did it the wrong way. They will use this as a positive, and they will make us be hate mongers because, yes, and look, she broke the law. And this is the dreamer part of the argument, right? Like, she broke the law, quote unquote, when she was 5. She had no control over her herself breaking the law. So I do understand that, and there's something to be said that if you wanted to have a way for people to handle that, that would be different than what they want to do.
There is a way. You come out of the shadows, you apply for citizenship. Now, I don't know if she's done that, but if she has, then shut up and wait your turn.
Yeah, you certainly don't get any benefit from coming. You should not be put ahead of people who are trying to come here legally from Croatia currently.
And it's not our fault. It's not. This is what pisses me off about this. It is not Americans' fault that her parents got her into this situation. That is not our responsibility. That's theirs. Okay? And now it's on you as a grown woman to do something about it. So stop your bitching and go do something about it. Well, and instead, she's called basically a hero.
Yeah, here's the clip. Hillary Clinton addressing her right after her emotional moment.
That was incredibly brave.
Oh, man.
And I thank you for doing that because it's important to put ourselves in other people's shoes. That's one of the big hopes I have, is that we can get back to being a country where people can understand what others are going through and have empathy for it.
No glasses, though, by the way.
Really try to help each other. I'm a huge supporter of immigration reform and a path to citizenship, and we'll continue to advocate for that. And the more stories, so that people can put a real face on what it means to have been brought here when you were 5 years old, have spent your entire life here, have made your best efforts here. And that's what immigration really should be about.
No.
Obviously, and you said no to immigration reform because you know what immigration reform means, which is essentially amnesty.
Yeah,
however,
20 million people.
In real terms, immigration reform would not be a bad thing. I would be completely for my type of immigration reform, which would be making the borders secure and allowing for an easier path for people to come here legally. Yes. I support that. Should there be people to come here through visas that are good workers and that are needed in our economy? Absolutely. This is what Republicans need to talk about when they're talking about these things. What the Democrats want are a bunch of new voters.
I'm sick and tired.
That's a totally different thing.
I'm sick and tired of pretending that it's about people like this, because it's not.
No,
it's not.
If it was, then we wouldn't be called racist all the time.
Yeah.
I like that because I thought, because I thought we were supposed to hate only Mexican immigrants and love people like this. We want more white people here, so obviously that's what conservatives want. Well, it's obviously not true. I do not like this clip. I do not like the situation. It really is.
It's so aggravating.
It's irritating, not as much as, if you want to take the pure perfect example, and you want to take someone who came here when they were 3 or 4 or 5 years old, had no control over it, they've come here, they've been upstanding citizens since they were here, but have not been able to correct this situation yet. Obviously you understand that argument, you understand where they're coming from. But the idea that you deserve some sort of benefit for this, that you deserve the right, first of all, the right to vote, second of all, the right to get free financial aid.
You don't
deserve those things.
And that's what I'm making fun of.
Yeah.
Not
her and not her
specifically. But she puts it in that context where she expects, she demands. We're supposed to give her the right to vote. No! We didn't do this to you. Your parents did, first of all. Go fix the situation, second of all. And third, we don't owe it to everyone on this planet to come here illegally and then just be given things like the right to vote. That is not our responsibility. That's not who we are. It will destroy us as a country if we have that mindset. And I'm just sick and tired of it.
Well,
I'm sick. And this shows this is a white girl from Croatia, from the Yugoslavs, and I'm just as opposed to it as anybody else who's here illegally.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just,
well, let me give you the other side of this.
Aggravating.
Blaze had an article up. Ben Weingarten did an interview with George Will, and they talked about this. George Will, who's obviously a very smart guy. We generally agree with George Will. He's been sort of a guy promoting, however, the idea that Republicans should essentially get on board with this immigration thing. And he's been talking about this for a while. So Ben asks him, I saw it on one of the Sunday shows probably a month or two back. You had a heated debate with Laura Ingraham on immigration. It seemed in that debate that both sides were represented quite well, make the case to conservatives who are against some form of amnesty as to why there should be some form of amnesty. Here's George Will's case. Tell me if this is at all persuasive to you. He says, here's why. There are 11 million people here illegally. They're not going home. The fact is that the American people will not tolerate the police measures necessary to extract these people from our communities. Something like 40% have been here 5 years or more. Large numbers have been here 10 years or more. They've had children who are American citizens under the They've had children here who are American citizens under the Constitution. 7 million of these people are in the workforce, performing jobs for which the market has demand. The American workforce, as our population ages, needs immigrants, needs immigration. Furthermore, immigration is an entrepreneurial act. These are people who, if this is not the Jeb Bush push we've been hearing lately, these are people who uproot themselves, take a risk, come to a strange country with a new culture and a new language, and in many cases try to better themselves. And I want this to be continued infusion of energy into America. This is a great case for legal immigration, by the way. But not necessarily for one for illegal, in my opinion. I didn't mean to interrupt myself as I was trying to get through the whole thing. And I think immigrants make wonderful patriots because they're grateful to the country that enables them to help themselves and their families. Again, they're not going home. No one has a plan. No one has a proposal. No one is going to uproot these 11 million people. So the very fact that they're here, they're staying, is semi-amnesty. What we have to do is make it orderly and reasonable. I'm not one of those. I'm almost done. Not one of those who says open borders, certainly not. Control of the borders is an essential attribute of national sovereignty. But the fact is, conservatives are supposed to be the realists in this life. They look at the facts in the face, and the fact is that these 11 million people are A, not going home, B, are largely employed, C, are needed. So that would be the case you asked me to make.
Oof. Wow, that is...
What do you think?
Jeb Bush bull crap. That is John McCain, Jeb Bush, Lindsey Graham bull crap. First of all, you set up the false premise that they're not going anywhere. The first false premise is that there's 11 million. There's more like 20 to 25 million. We've been saying 11 million for 15 years, and it's way beyond that. The second thing is there's no way to get rid of them. You can't do anything about it. Not true, and that's the false premise these people make. You remove the incentive. You secure the border. You make legal immigration easier. And if you take away the incentives and come down on the employers employing them, they will self-deport. We can do something about it. That's the false premise. You don't have to set up a police state in order to do it. You remove the incentives in order to do it. And then you round up the strays. It will take time. It will happen over time. You're not going to go in and put everybody on a bus or a plane and send them back. It will happen over time in a reasonable way. And that's how you do it. We must dismiss the false premise that they can't go anywhere and nothing can be done. That's not true. Well, it's the year 2014. We can do something about it.
I think there's some empirical evidence, too, to support what you're saying, in that when the economy here blew, the flow of illegal immigrants shrunk.
Big time.
Big time. And the reason for that is because their incentives were taken away.
Yeah.
People weren't coming in, and those that leave weren't coming back.
You must remove the incentive.
So you can do that without ruining. You don't want your economy to be ruined, obviously, to accomplish this.
I'm really surprised at George Will here. This is amazing.
He has been making this case for a while.
I haven't heard him make that case, but that's pretty spelled out there. That's the liberal view.
It's the Jeb Bush view. I mean, it's not quite Hillary Clinton because things like close the border, or border security. It's the Reagan view from the 80s, is what it is.
And look what happened. In the Reagan view from the 80s, look what happened.
It didn't work.
That is the same thing that will happen now. They keep saying that, well, then they'll be citizens and we need them, and then you make it. You know what will happen if you just wave your magic wand and make it okay for everybody to be here? All 25 million. The situation just got 10 times worse again because you sent the signal to the rest of the world, go ahead and come in here. We don't do anything about it. We'll complain about it for a while, but then 10 years down the road, you'll be legal again. Yeah, I mean, that's just the signal you sent.
It certainly invites more to come in the wrong ways. I mean,
no question.
You have to reform the system of getting people here, quicker. I think I've talked about a friend of mine who is coming here from Sweden. He is, and he's not white. either. Shocking.
Oh my gosh.
I know, this is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
But here's a guy who works hard, who is a smart guy, who's helping, I think, the country, who came here the right way, and has had to deal with essentially nonstop hassles through the system. He said it's been very difficult. They've, made all the paperwork incredibly difficult. He's not a citizen, but he's working. He's here legally, and he's done it the right way. And it's like, well, okay, what do is that important to society? I think yes. I think what George Will makes here is a very good argument for legal immigration. And the weird thing here is, people I think who take this stance are agreeing with us in a weird way, in that we're saying legal immigrants coming here helps the country. It energizes the country. It's a good, positive thing, and I want to encourage more of it. The way people like George Will, like Jeb Bush, and many on the left argue, to me, seems to be, well, if you just make them legal, the ones who came here illegally, make them legal, then it's just an influx of legal immigration. We've made them legal, so that's legal immigration. Well, the process is part of that. The fact that you have the dedication to not to cut the corner, the fact that you need to go through a process is part of what makes you love this country. You're working hard to get here. The fact that you come here willy-nilly whenever you want to take a bunch of our money and send it back to your relatives is not something that adds any allegiance to this nation. And that would be evidenced by the parades thrown by the people who do that.
Yeah, and that's the other part of this.
It's not a love for America.
It is not. You're right. And that pisses me off, because Will is talking about how, it makes them patriots or whatever. No, it doesn't. I mean, many of them, I don't know the percentage. I've never seen a survey done, but I've seen people carrying their Mexican flags, yelling about their allegiance to Mexico over America. I know for a fact that many of them are still pro their own nation. Mm-hmm. All they're doing here is they're here for a selfish reason. However desperate that reason is, it's a selfish reason. They're not here to better America and get an American way of life. They're here to work and send money back home and then get out as soon as they can because they want to go back to Mexico because they love it. Well, okay, but that's not helping us.
Yep, and that is what you talked about, Pat, is the economic incentive. The economic incentive, when it was taken away because our economy was poor, stopped illegal immigration largely in its tracks for a few years.
Yeah.
If you essentially take the economy of the illegal immigrant, the person who's looking at that and saying, yeah, they have a decent economy there, but it's such a hassle for me to go and be illegal, I might as well go through the front door and do it legally, that is when this problem solves itself over a period of probably multiple decades. Yeah. But still, you're going in the right direction. The idea right now is, and I hate to bring this example up with you, Pat, but it's essentially a speeding ticket. It's essentially like, okay, if I'm a person in Mexico and I'm saying, well, I could go through the whole process of all the freaking forms and wait a year or whatever. Or I could just go over there, and if I get caught, they'll likely just release me back to Mexico. I can come back in a few weeks.
It's not as serious.
It's not a big problem. Whatever, I get deported, and I have to deal with a few months. It's going to take me longer to go through the front door anyway, so I might as well just try it. It's a speeding ticket. It's why we still speed, even though speeding is supposedly against the rules, because we know the consequence is not that severe.
It's less severe than a speeding ticket, because at least I have to pay a fine.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Don't.